Hey, and welcome back for another 3D video in Blender. So to continue our 3D Fantasy RPG series, we're going to be modeling a horse. And this is going to follow a similar method that we used when we created the anvil. We'll be importing multiple reference images for different views, and we're going to use that to basically trace out our model. So if you want to follow along, go ahead and open up a new Blender session and we'll get started. So the first thing that we're going to do is set up a mirror modifier for our model. That'll ensure that if we're changing one side of the model, it'll duplicate that for the other side. And to model something as complicated as a horse, this is going to come in really handy. So with the default cube selected, let's go ahead into edit mode. And right off the bat, what we're going to do is move it over one Blender unit in the Y direction. So you'll see it's on the right side of the red line running through the middle of the grid here. So with that done, let's go over to the modifier tab, go to add modifier and mirror modifier, which is right there. And we're going to select the Y axis as our mirror plane. So with that done, we can just go right back into object mode for now. And now we can start importing our images. And I already downloaded some pictures of horses from different angles. So let's go ahead over to the properties panel on the right hand side. We can expand that out a little bit. And let's just go ahead and add some pictures. So we can do that by going down to background images. We can expand that, go to add image, and we can open up a folder with our images in them. So right here I downloaded a couple of views, so we're going to first bring in the side view. And we can make that the front view. And so we want this side right here to be our side view. So if we go to front, there we go, there's the picture of our horse. And that way, when we edit this, it copies it over on the other side. So once we're in front view, we can actually go ahead and start making changes to our model. And the best thing to do is break this up into sections. So first we're going to make the body, then the head, then the tail, and then the legs. So you could do that multiple ways. You could either start with one square and keep extruding sections out, or you could start out with one long shape and loop cut it multiple times so it gives you the vertices, edges, and faces to manipulate. And that's the method that I'm going to do. So first, let's just start out by putting it right in this position. Okay. Let's go ahead into edit mode. Okay, it actually looks like the cube that we want to edit is on the other side. So instead of the front view, let's go to back view. Let's change our image to back over here. There we go. Let's go into object mode and just put that back into place. Let's start out back here. Edit mode. Make sure that face select is selected. We're going to select this face. And let's go back into back view. And we can just move that out along the length of the body. Okay, maybe we can rotate a little bit. Okay, now let's put in some loop cuts. We don't have to make this too detailed, so let's give it about, let's see, about 6. There we go. And now let's start manipulating these edges to give the basic shape of the horse's body. Also, take into consideration what the hotkey is for whatever view that you're operating in. That way you don't have to keep going into this view selection tool. So if we are modeling in the back view, it's Control 1 on the keyboard. One other helpful point is that when you're working with the model with a reference image, it always helps to make sure that you can see the image while you're modeling. So if we go down to the background image, we can select between front and back here under the opacity. So if we select front, we could then see through and see the image behind the object. So you can basically use those same methods to model the horse's head, and the neck, as well as the tail. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and extrude a couple of shapes off the main body up here to make the neck, and then extrude a couple shapes off of that to create the head. And I'm going to do the same thing with the tail. Alright, it's coming together pretty well, so the next thing that we're going to do is create the legs. We're going to do that by first creating a loop cut going down the center of the horse, And then we can extrude out the legs from those faces. So let's go ahead to the side here. Let's go to loop cut, and we're going to make one go right down the center. There we go. And now we can select these faces and start extruding them out. Okay, so we have the whole shape of the horse created now. So this whole side profile is done. So the next thing that we're going to do is just bring it into the middle a little bit so that the horse is a bit thinner. Because right now, if we rotate around, you can see how wide he is. And so the best way to do that is just to go right into object mode. With the whole object selected, hit S on the keyboard for scale, and we're just going to scale it in the Y direction. Okay, we'll move it to about right there. So now the next step is to just keep manipulating these faces, vertices, and edges along the front of the horse as well as the top, so we can get all three of those basic profiles down. And we can do that by adding some more reference images. So let's go right over to the side here again, and under background images we can add another image, and let's go to open. We're going to go ahead and bring in a front view as well. There we go. And we want to bring the image to the front, so then we could adjust the shape of the horse from here. Can move that over a little bit. And let's go ahead and finish up the shape of the horse. Okay, now one thing that I forgot to put in is the ears, so let's go ahead and do that. And we're going to do that just like we did with the legs. We're going to choose one of these squares, extrude it, add some loop cuts, and just start manipulating its vertices, edges, and faces. Okay, so let's just go ahead and also extrude some of these rectangles right here to make a mane. Alright, now with that done, let's go ahead and just add some color to it. Alright, so I'm pretty sure I just modeled a donkey, but that's okay, it's the same thing. You could use this technique for modeling anything from objects to animals to even people. So if you want to model an animal like this for your game, go ahead and try this one out, and don't forget to tweet me a picture of it when you're done. Also, if you got value from this video, make sure that you like and subscribe to the channel. I wanted to start getting to know you a little bit, so I want to ask a question at the end of every video. So we'll round this one off by asking you, what is your favorite video game character? Alright, keep practicing, and I'll see you in the next video.